Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Give double honors to the apostles of great millstone that rule well. This is Marcus again from the Trinidad camp. Here to just do a little edification and for the sake of the hopefully elect. Alright, because right now we see that these prophecies they come into pass. Scripture says that in the end shall speak. Alright, and upon that being said, well, one of the main events that we see happening worldwide, I mean, and it's increasing, is what the sightings of chariots, or the chariots of the Most High, or people call them so-called UFOs. Alright, so I just want to bring out a few scriptures concerning, I just show a little video in between, right, and more or less compare spiritual things with spiritual. Alright, so there's the first scripture. Is Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 2. It says, "Thus said the Lord, learn not the ways of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Yeah, so these people, these heathens, and two-thirds of Jake, basically are heathens too. So right, this talking about the people who are not Israelites, because they are not all Israel that are of Israel. So those that not in the know, they actually are dismayed when they see these flying vehicles of the Most High up and about the sky. Alright, they're wondering, what it could be, or if it's aliens or whatever the case is, and none considering that these are just the vehicle that the Most High and his angels use. Alright, and these gonna be the vehicles that the elect gonna use also in the kingdom. Alright, so without further ado, just start to just play these clips.
Breaking news on Highway 81 outside Stuttgart, Germany, where officials are investigating a strange occurrence that has baffled evening commuters. What started out as a regular day on the job for Ernst Becker, driver of a cargo truck, quickly turned into an out-of-this-world experience. This footage from the highway's closed-circuit cameras gives a glimpse of what happened. The truck was momentarily lifted off the highway, then dropped back on the ground.
Right, so this is the next precept. This is Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 2. "Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire. From the appearance of his loins went downward fire, and from his loins even upward as the appearance of brightness, even as the color of amber." So now, to understand these precepts, you need the Spirit of the Most High to be working with you. Now, when he said the likeness of the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins even downward, that was actually talking about what the lasers from the chariots, and also what Esau like to call the tractor beam. And here we see in this video, it was an actual tractor beam, a beam of light coming down and lifting that truck off the ground. The same means where the elect gonna be delivered by. This beam of light gonna come down and lift the elect up into the air. Alright, so it says, "From his loins downward fire, and from his loins even as the appearance of brightness, as it was the color of amber." So this, when you look at amber is an orange color, like fire. So this was an orange colored chariot that Ezekiel was seeing, and he saw the fire coming down like the same pillar of fire from back in the wilderness. Alright, going on, verse 3. "And he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by the lock of my head, and the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven." Alright, and that is what we see just happen with the truck. The form of an hand, because we're doing a hand, you take your hand to lift things up. So with the form of an hand, the chariot sent down that light and lifted up that truck, just like it lifted up Ezekiel. Alright, so these things simple to understand, but just take a man of the Most High, beginning with Apostle to all the way down. Take a man of the Most High to give you the understanding of it. And the Lord always gave the prophets the understanding of his will. Hence the reason when you go through the scriptures, all the times people wanted to know the will of the Most High and to inquire of him, they would always seek the prophets. Alright? Alright? And here we see the form of one hand lifting up the truck.
However,
between,
eyewitnesses claim to have
between
seen a
heaven and
mysterious
the
light
earth.
hovering over the truck as this happened.
NASA has discovered an unknown object that is out in space, far, far away from us, that outshines our entire Milky Way galaxy by over 50 times. This thing is so bright that it radiates more energy than 100 billion of our suns. And NASA has no idea what this massive, bright object is.
Now, let me read the scripture here real quick. Now it says NASA don't know what it is. We just read in Jeremiah, don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Alright? There is Revelation chapter 1 verse 16. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So it says that this so-called UFO, the chariot of the Most High, was so bright that it actually brightened on all the stars in this Milky Way, brightened on the sun and all the stars put together like 10 times or 50 times. Alright? So this chariot was extremely bright. That is where the scripture said that the kingdom was lightened with the glory of the Most High. That glory of the Most High was talking about that light radiating from his chariot, from his so-called UFO. Alright? What you think was giving the children of Israel light, copper by day and light by night, was a chariot, a big ass chariot. Alright?
So according to a new Daily Galaxy article, astronomers that have been watching this massive, bright ball of gas that's billions of light years away, and oddly enough, for as massive as this thing is, whatever it is, there is a mystery object in the center of this massive light-producing gas ball that is no larger than 10 miles across. And this object is known as
this chariot was 10 miles across. So guess what? The chariot that was covering Israel back then had to have been very big. Alright? There were millions of people. Alright? Millions of people. It wasn't no cloud. Alright? It wasn't no cloud. They just describe it as a cloud. Alright? So you people who paint pictures with the Lord riding on a cloud and coming back, guess what? You people just don't have, you're not drinking from that spring of creativity. Drinking from that well of understanding. Lord didn't give it that understanding. Alright? That's the reason you need the men of GMS to break these scriptures down. Alright?
ASAS-SN-15LH. And this object is twice as luminous as any other object we've ever detected in the universe. And oddly enough, the name of this object, ASASSN-15, when actually read on paper, spells assassin. Now, I don't know if that's a coincidence, but again, you look at...
Now he says that what? The name, when you write out the name of the so-called UFO, it spells assassin. It's Zechariah chapter 5 verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. So back in the days of Zechariah, would have been in the sky flying. Alright? And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. And he said unto me, What this? He said, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. So guess what? An assassin goes out and kills. So these chariots, as we seen back in the ancient time in Egypt, guess what? They have instruments of salvation and also instruments of destruction. So Esau didn't just call it assassin by chance. Alright? That's why they make movies like War of the Worlds. Alright? Battle LA, Battleship LA. Hey, Independence Day coming up next week. Independence Day. If you wanna read Independence Day, guess what? Just read 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Alright? Just read that. From verse 1 going down. Just read that. Alright? And guess they ain't only gonna be for destruction, but they're also gonna be for salvation. There's Habakkuk chapter 3 verse 8. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thy horses and thy chariots of salvation? So yeah, these chariots can actually be the instruments of destroying the wicked, and also the instruments of salvation for the elect of the Most High. Alright? Just read 2 more scriptures here real quick. There's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 18 verse 7. So of thy people was accepted both salvation of the righteous and destruction of the enemies. For wherewith thou didst punish our adversaries, by the same thou didst glorify us whom thou hast called. So the same means these chariots, they're gonna cause destruction and salvation. Alright, these are the vehicles that the Lord, these are the Lord's war machines. Alright, when you read Isaiah chapter 4, it says what? That it's gonna be like a cover from the sun. Alright, so these are actually gonna be the instruments that the Lord gonna use to destroy the wicked and to deliver the elect. Alright, this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 11 verse 13. For when they heard by their own punishments the others to be benefited, they had some feeling of the Lord. So yeah, so by the same means they were destroyed, the same means benefited us. Alright, so we go on.
Get it for yourself. This thing's breaking the laws of physics. It shouldn't be possible. It shouldn't exist. And it really makes you wonder, what is out there in the universe that is 10 miles across, that is creating energy and a light source, a luminosity that is brighter than our entire galaxy? After a violent thunderstorm. If you remember, we posted a recent video showing yet another glowing orb-like object in the footage you're seeing here, taken during a thunderstorm, sitting idly in the sky, completely unfazed by this raging storm happening around it, before slowly moving through the sky and disappearing. Stories just hit the net about these 2 Turkish airline pilots who say that they saw a glowing green UFO near the Istanbul airport. Now apparently it looked like a glowing green flying saucer, and it took place around the Silivri district of Istanbul on Thursday, and this airplane was heading from the western Turkish resort town of Bodrum to Istanbul, and was flying at around 5,100 meters at the time of the sighting. And again, what makes for great UFO sightings like this is especially when they come from pilots. I mean, these guys are experienced, they're trained, they know what they're looking at, and they can clearly distinguish between a conventional aircraft and something that's not one of our aircraft.
This is Revelation chapter 4 verse 3. And he that sat, I read verse 2. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on that throne. So what this throne is? Let me read on and see what this throne is. and he that sat upon the and he that sat was to look upon like jasper and sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne in sight like unto emerald. Now when you look up emerald, emerald is actually green, and this was actually talking about a chariot of the Most High. All right, so this chariot was actually a green chariot, like you're seeing right here. All right, it's actually a green chariot from the Most High. All these things here in the scriptures, all right, all these things here in the scriptures, that is why the scriptures said, be not dismayed, because he gave us the understanding. That is why he said, glory not in your wisdom, but glory in the fact that you understand me, because the Lord gave us the understanding of this word through his spirit. All right.
But I wanted to show you this video first, and I got an email, and this was taken in Long Beach, California, of this object that was sitting in the sky on the beach, creating this weird orange-red glow in the clouds. Now the sun has already passed and gone down, and it's basically almost dusk, and we see this strange glowing orb sort of radiating from something there in the clouds. And as you watch the footage, about halfway through, and we'll show you some different filters here, you will actually see a disc-shaped object. Now whether it's a disc or a flat rectangular shaped object, whatever it may be, this object appears in the middle of this glowing orb, and it at least appears on the camera. It may have been.
This is Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind. Now a whirlwind moves in a circular manner, just like the chariots of the Most High, so-called UFO, came out of the north. A great cloud. So was it a whirlwind or was it a cloud? These are just metaphors, just figuratively describing the chariot of the Most High, because as they say, a flying saucer, a flying disc. Alright? A fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof was the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Now as I said, amber is an orange color. So this we are seeing right here is not the sun. That is why he said it's just after dusk, and the sun already set, already went down behind the mountains. So this we are seeing here, my fellows, is actually a chariot of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Alright? Now look up the word chariot, come from the Hebrew word malakab, which actually means a wheeled vehicle. It actually means a wheeled vehicle. Alright? So the scripture say be apt to teach. That is why we constantly putting up these videos. Alright? For the edification of the elect, the hopefully elect. Alright, because I myself hoping that I'm a part of that number.
Been there the whole time, but it looks to materialize, and you can see it plain as day, sitting dead center to where this orange radiation is coming from. And we're showing you the contrast enhanced version so you can see when this object appears. And I was emailed by the source of the video by the name of George, who said he was at the beach, and him and other people saw this UFO sitting in the sky with this light around it.
Alright, so as you know, as we saw, showing you more or less that hey, these phenomenons that have been seen across the sky, they're actually chariots of the Most High and nothing else. Nothing to be dismayed at and go crazy over. Alright, so I just want to bring out two more scriptures, and I'll close it off for that. This is Revelation chapter 10 verse 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud. So this angel wasn't naked and had a cloud around his body. The cloud was actually talking about the angel sitting in the chariot. Alright? And a rainbow was about his head. That rainbow was the actual lights going around the chariot. Alright? That was the actual lights going around the chariot. And his face was as it was the sun. Because why? This chariot was extremely bright. Just like we saw in the first clip. It said that it was 50 times brighter than the sun. Alright? And his feet as pillars of fire, which would have either been the lasers coming down, or as we seen in the earlier clip, the tractor beam, or that great light that lifts up objects coming down from the bottom of the chariot. Alright? So you actually had to have that mind to envision things, and the Most had to be working with you for you to actually bring these scriptures to life, to understand what actually being said. Alright? This is Revelation 21 verse 1. And I saw I started verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem. And where people go bugged out of the scripture. Alright? And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So people actually thinking there's actually a city, that big city just floating out the sky. That don't make sense. And to prove that that is not Jerusalem coming out the sky, or an actual city coming out the sky, we read the scripture to back it up real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 60 verse, where is it? Just bear with me 1 second. Alright, this is Isaiah 60. I start at verse 8. It says, "Who are these that fly as a cloud, and as the doves to their windows?" So yeah, there was actually the elect in the chariots. Alright, when it says like a dove in their windows. Alright, jumping down to verse 10. It says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath have I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee." So guess what? If the sons of strangers gonna build up our walls, then guess what? The holy city, New Jerusalem, ain't gonna be floating out the sky, already built. Because just like we built up these other nations' kingdoms, their empire, guess what? They had to build up our empire. It's only fair. Alright? Scripture says Most High is a just God. Alright? What do you think the other nations going in 1,000 years of slavery to do? Alright? Jerusalem gonna be a great place. Alright? Going back to Revelation. This is verse 10. "And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God." And what is the glory of the Most High? His chariot. That magnificent light emanating from that chariot. Alright? "And her light was like the light of a stone most precious, like as jasper, as a clear crystal." Alright? Now, when you go back to I think it was Ezekiel 8. Let's just get that real quick. Right. It's not Ezekiel 8, my bad, it's just now. Alright. This is Revelation 4. Revelation 4 and 3. "And he that sat look upon like jasper and sardine stone. Now guess what? Sardine stone and jasper basically is the same thing. They're basically red. Alright? So it have chariots that have different color. Alright? It have chariots that have different color. And they could change the color at a whim. Alright? So this said like as jasper, because jasper is the same thing. Jasper red. Alright, jasper stone red when you go back to Revelation 21. As clear as crystal. So the spirit chariot was red. It had this brightness about it. Alright, so those phenomena you see flying across the sky, those lights, they're not UFOs, they're not unidentified flying object. Alright, they're the chariots of the Most High. The instruments that the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai gonna use to deliver the elect and to also destroy the 2/3 of Israel, the 2/3 of, not the 2/3, the wicked of the other nations. Alright, so with that, I want to give our praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Until next time, let's say Shalom.